Hi, Bill Jones from Turntastic Wood Designs. A few weeks ago, I decided to do a major spring cleaning on the shop, and it had gotten kind of cruddy and really needed a major spring cleaning. That wound up turning into a whole big thing. I actually decided as I went along, it just kept growing, and I actually in my shop I had an old cruddy garage door that didn't work, that I had a real rinky-dink situation with some insulation and duct tape set up, and I wound up ripping all that out and putting in a new area with a wall and some French doors that I got at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. So the garage door is gone, and now there's French doors. In the process, I found that the header above the garage door actually had some termite damage, or carpenter ants, or whatever they are, actually pretty bad damage, and I wound up having to, this is an example of the project really growing. I wound up having to rip that header out and put in a new header. And that was actually quite a job, but thankfully my wife helped me out and we got that done. But in doing that, I wound up reorganizing several things in the shop and got it in good shape. And I want to talk about one of those now. One of the things that is a challenge in every shop is sheet goods storage. Sheet goods are very valuable. You use them for all kinds of things, but they're large, they're bulky, they're difficult to handle, and of course difficult to store. I've tried a couple of things over the years and mostly learned what doesn't work, or I should say what doesn't work for me. I've made a couple of carts over the years of different styles, and a couple of things came up with that. One, you need really large, really strong casters, or you're not able to pull the cart around because it's quite a bit of weight. And the other thing is that in a shop of my size, which is about a 2-car garage, about 24 feet by 24 feet, you don't wind up pulling them around. You don't pull a cart around, it stays in one spot. And the carts that I've tried just haven't worked out. So what I've learned is, one, if you have the ceiling space, tilt the sheet goods up to where the 8-foot dimension is standing up. If you have the ceiling space, that saves you half the wall space. That's a lot better. And another thing is, you need to make a series of slots for the sheet goods to go in, to where you only have maybe 3 pieces of 3/4 in each slot. Otherwise, when the pieces lean up against each other, whichever piece you're trying to pull out of your cart has so much weight on it that you can't pull it out, and you can't get it and you can't see it. So I'm going to make a fixed station, or a fixed bin to try and solve my problem, to where things are upright and it's got thin slots to where I can store my sheet goods in a better way. I have a concrete floor here in the shop, so I'm going to start by taking a piece of pressure treated plywood, and I'm actually going to cut a bevel on it for the very beginning to help aid in when I push plywood into the bin, and that's what I'm going to do next. I tacked up a piece of OSB to serve as a back, and I screwed the plywood down to the floor. I made a series of these frames from 1x3s. I put them together with pocket screws and then screwed them to the base on the floor and to the back about 3 inches apart. After I got 4 of the dividers in, I went ahead and tried it just out of curiosity, and it works great, except when I went to slide the a piece of plywood in, the friction of this piece of plywood that I'm sliding against the base was a little too much, because that's pretty rough. So I thought about that, and I'm going to go ahead and take this all apart again and change the base to use a piece of melamine instead of plywood, and that's got a nice slick surface, and we're going to see if that works better. And I'll be back in a few minutes when I've got that change made. There, that slides much better. I added a couple of shelves in between some of these racks, and then added some shelves on the outside of this one. That would allow me for different size pieces to be stacked up. And I got this all loaded up, and I'm real happy with it. This worked out really well. A couple of things I like about it. I can see I made the frames 3 foot 6 inches instead of 4 foot. That way everything sticks out a little bit to where I can see very well what I have. Also, I can get my hand on it quite easily. And by having a bunch of small slots, I don't have anything jammed in there real tight, so that I can actually get a hold of it and move it in and out without too much trouble. And that's a big plus. So I'm hoping this system will work way better than any other system I've used. This is the third thing I've tried over the years, and I'm hoping that this one will work out a lot better. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you, and that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and share with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching.